I couldn't close my eyes the night before the wedding. It wasn't nerves, and it wasn't excitement. Something else lingered in me. Something heavier, darker, crawling beneath my skin like a whisper I couldn't quiet. It was past midnight when I found myself sitting on the edge of the hotel bed. My tie still hung loose around my neck, my gaze locked on the dull wallpaper separating me from the groomsmen's suite. Their laughter leaked through the thin wall, sloppy, careless, fueled by too much alcohol. I should have turned on the television or drowned them out with music, but I didn't. And then I heard it. "He doesn't deserve her." One of them mumbled through a drunken mouthful of liquor. "Spill wine on his white suit. Lose the rings. Whatever it takes to ruin it." A wave of chuckles followed. And then came a voice I knew too well, Nathan's. My best man. My closest friend since college. The man who had been at my side through heartbreaks, failures, and late-night breakdowns. "I've been working on her for months," he bragged. "After the show's over and he crashes, she'll realize it. She'll come to me." Time stopped. The laughter dulled to nothing in my ears, replaced by a deafening ring. I didn't storm in. I didn't grab my phone. I didn't even breathe. I just sat there, paralyzed, because in that moment, I wasn't a groom anymore. I was a man watching his world unravel. The wedding was 9 hours away, and suddenly, I had a new role to play. Nathan and I had built each other up from nothing. We weren't bound by blood, but by choice. He was the brother I thought fate had given me. And when I met Emma, he'd met her too, just weeks after I did. He'd called her a firecracker, laughed too loud at her jokes, touched her shoulder a little too long. I dismissed it all because I trusted him. That was my mistake. I loved him like family. I loved her like air. Looking back, it was obvious. The hovering, the way he stepped in too quickly, the way he waited for me to falter so he could shine. I refused to see it. Until that night. At 7 in the morning, I made a call. Tyler answered on the second ring. "I need the backup plan," I told him. He didn't ask why. He never did. 3 years earlier, I had saved his career by exposing a fraud scheme that would have buried him. He'd sworn then, "Whatever you need, call me." So I did. Next, I called Maria, my attorney. Months earlier, as a half-serious joke, we drafted a prenuptial clause for betrayal. A net I never thought I'd use. Now it became my lifeline. By 3 a.m., the pieces were moving. Hotel security sent me hallway footage. Tyler secured the audio. Maria prepared asset protections and drafted documents that would later arrive anonymously in Emma's hands. Not everything, just enough. I needed to see her face first. At 6 I showered, put on my white tux, and stared at my reflection. Not a groom. Not a victim. Something colder. Something sharper. When Emma walked down the aisle, she looked like poetry made flesh. A vision draped in ivory and light. The guests were captivated, breathless. But my eyes weren't on her. They were on Nathan. He wore a smirk. Not for her, for me. As though he already knew the ending. As though he had written it himself. What he didn't realize was that I had rewritten the script. I said my vows with absolute clarity, because I meant them. I loved her. I still do. But not blindly. Not anymore. When the priest asked if anyone objected, I saw the flicker cross Nathan's face. His lips pressed tight, his jaw clenched. He wouldn't object publicly. That wasn't his game. He would wait, let rot spread, and claim the pieces later. But the rot ended with me. I kissed my bride, and turned the blade. The reception began flawlessly. Toasts, laughter, champagne spilling like sunlight. Then at exactly 7:13 p.m., the lights dimmed. A screen lowered from the ceiling. Guests expected baby pictures, awkward teen photos, sweet moments from our dating years. Instead, a voice rang out. "He doesn't deserve her." The room froze. Nathan's voice followed, smug, undeniable. "I've been working on her for months." The recording played with laughter echoing in the background. Then came grainy video. Nathan leaning against a dresser, shirt half-buttoned, grin wide, surrounded by drunk groomsmen. Silence swallowed the ballroom. Emma turned to me, pale, trembling. I squeezed her hand. The screen went black. I stepped forward. "I wanted you all to hear this before rumors twisted it. This was recorded last night. I didn't cancel the wedding because I needed to know, truly know, where loyalty lived. My eyes locked on Nathan. You taught me to trust, I said. And tonight, you reminded me why I never should have. Nathan froze, jaw tight, eyes shifting like a trapped animal. Emma's hands slipped from mine. She stepped toward him, shaking. I handed her an envelope, sealed, thick with betrayal. Inside, screenshots, messages, a timeline of manipulation. He doesn't see you. You could do better. He's not the man you think he is. Emma read. Her breath hitched, her knees buckled. Then came the sharp crack of her palm against his face. Not rage, but revelation. No applause followed. No cheers. The silence was heavier than any noise. Nathan left in shame. No words, no defense. Just the weight of his own undoing. The groomsmen scattered like shadows when the lights came on. The rest of the night, Emma and I danced. Because the betrayal wasn't hers, it was his. Later, in my arms, she wept. She told me she had always felt something was off, but never knew how to say it. That she had never encouraged him, never crossed a line. And I believed her. We didn't take a honeymoon. No beaches, no champagne. Just two people walking through fire hand in hand. 2 days later, I filed charges. Embezzlement. Evidence I had discovered weeks earlier, held in silence until the right moment. Nathan lost his career. His secrets spilled across headlines. The groomsmen's name surfaced too, tied to forged invoices under his firm. They mistook my silence for weakness. They mistook my loyalty for blindness. But I wasn't weak. I didn't rewrite my wedding to destroy them, though I could have. I rewrote it to rescue the truth. When people ask me about our wedding, I tell them it was unforgettable. And it was. But the most important thing I learned is this. Love isn't always about how loudly you fight for it. Sometimes, it's about how quietly you guard it. Until the moment comes to strike with purpose. That night, I didn't lose a thing.